Why don't we really be honest here, Pierce? Let's be really honest. Every country is involved in espionage. Every single country. The American spy, the British spy, the Russian spy, we all spy on each other. Let's be honest. However, for anyone to think that Vladimir Putin had anything to do with fixing the elections, or even that the Russians have that kind of technology, is stupid.
So we got a bunch of globalists wanting to divide and conquer the country. They're using race and sex to do it. Male against female, black against white. And they're already kneeling and bitching and complaining at all the major football games and saying America's bad and acting like, you know, that the American flag is a KKK uniform or something. And so Trump says, I'm sick of this crap. You're a bunch of un-American garbage. You can kick somebody out of the game for doing an end zone celebration. You can kick them out of the game for saying they, you know, hate America. And then they all whined and, oh, you need to be impeached, and, oh, you're in trouble, and, oh, the NFL, they showed solidarity with all the owners and all the players. Trump's in trouble. And I told you Saturday, day one, they're going to say he's in trouble on Sunday. They're all going to lock arms. They're all going to have solidarity. They're all going to try to show the world that the NFL's king. But by later in the week, they're going to announce the NFL is crippled forever and has committed suicide, and they'll be in full retreat. And exactly as I said has now been announced. And I only tell you that because these are very clear things. We just finally are standing up. And that's why the globalists are so panicked. And they're throwing everything they've got out there now because none of their bull works. Russian agents, KKK, all this garbage. Now, this interview's up on Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com, NewsWars.com. Please get it out, a Dan Lyman article. Seagal, enemies within, blocking Trump agenda, NFL kneelers are disgusting. Renaissance man says leftover Obama-nites working to overthrow Trump. Here it is.
And we have just, you know, a ton of enemies within. We have these, you know, Democrats that have this whole other agenda to kind of, when I say Democrats, it's not just the Democrats, but there are this whole group of leftover Obamaites and people who feel that they should really sort of kind of overthrow Trump, and any decisions he makes, anything that he tries to do, he gets blocked so often from, you know, sort of the enemies within. So it's very difficult for him to do anything.
But when you see this ongoing debate right now about patriotism, the American flag, the anthem, black football players taking the knee as a mark of protest about racial division and injustice in America, do you agree with Trump that it's disrespectful, or do you think actually going to one knee is not an entirely disrespectful way of making a point?
I mean, I guess really what I'd like to say is this. I believe in free speech. I believe that everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but I don't agree that they should hold the United States of America or the world hostage by taking a venue where people are tuning in to watch a football game and, you know, imposing their political views. I think it's outrageous. I think it's a joke. It's disgusting. And, you know, I respect the American flag, and I myself, you know, have risked my life countless times for the American flag, and I don't understand or agree with this kind of behavior. I think it's an outrage.
There will be some people, Stephen, who will be watching this interview, hear you saying that and think you sound like a great patriotic guy, but they'll also see you in Moscow and being very complimentary about Vladimir Putin, who many Americans believe fixed the US election, which is why Donald Trump became president. You know, how do you juggle the fact that...
All right, stay right there. We're going to go to break, come back with the next hour, get to that, a bunch of other clips, your calls, guests, you name it. Again, you can't even go to Moscow without being called a Russian, or you can't go there and organize fights or go there and make movies. That's why I'm going to go to Russia soon. I mean, I'm not going to be controlled what I do. Like I'm a Russian agent, or Steven Seagal is, because we love the American flag and want to make America great again. That's why they hate Russia, because Russia's become a sovereign nation again. It's ridiculous. So you've got Piers Morgan, who I really dislike because I know people that know him, and I know that he's a closet conservative. And back when we had our famous debate almost 4 years ago on CNN that they admit destroyed his career, basically, when I called him out, people behind the scenes said, no, Morgan actually likes guns. He's really a conservative. And then later, we learned that's the case. And when liberals stop funding him, he goes back to England and becomes more of a conservative and has been pro-Trump. But he's, again, riding the fence here, saying to Steven Seagal with that amazing red square behind him, saying, well, okay, you claim you love America, but you're in Russia. And I love how Putin said to Megyn Kelly in an interview, he said, Megyn, you keep saying Trump's bad for meeting me twice, since he was president. Megyn, you're constantly meeting me over the years. That means you're a Russian agent. None of this even makes sense. I guarantee you, when I go to Russia, I'm going to do the same shot with red square behind me, very iconic. I want to see the Middle East. I want to see Russia. I've seen all over Europe and places. If I go to Germany, it doesn't mean I'm German. If I go to Baghdad, it doesn't mean I'm an Iraqi. And this is the mental illness where they want to bully everybody with political correctness now that, oh, it's the Russians too. You're not just a racist, Mr. Seagal, for supporting Trump, as the media said. Now, you're something even worse. You're a Ruski agent. So here's Piers Morgan at it again.
There will be some people, Stephen, who will be watching this interview. He's saying that and think you sound like a great patriotic guy, but they'll also see you in Moscow and being very complimentary about Vladimir Putin, who many Americans believe fixed the US election, which is why Donald Trump became president. How do you juggle the fact that a lot of your fellow Americans are pretty unhappy about this?
Why don't we really be honest here, Piers? Let's be really honest. Every country is involved in espionage. Every single country. The American spy, the British spy, the Russian spy, we all spy on each other. Let's be honest. However, for anyone to think that Vladimir Putin had anything to do with fixing the elections, or even that the Russians have that kind of technology, is stupid. And, we have a situation here where really all of this is happening, in my opinion, from astronomical propaganda, and this kind of propaganda is really a diversion, from creating a diversion so that the people in the United States of America won't really see what's happening. And I think most of the people in the United States of America and most of the people in Russia want to like each other, and we need each other. Russia and America should be great allies, and that's the way it should be.
Well, I think that's absolutely right. I agree with you. Final question, Stephen. What are you up to movie-wise at the moment? Any big movies coming?
I just finished a movie called Attrition. It's a movie about human trafficking. It's a movie about kung fu. It's a movie about honor, and a great action movie. I'm just doing the post for it in Asia right now. And all
right, so that's Steven Seagal. I want to get him on the show. I talk to folks that know him. They say he's a listener. I told that like 10 years ago. And you're just like, oh, yeah, Seagal's a listener. And then you see all this. He's clearly a very, very awake. By the way, they always spin that he says Putin's one of the greatest world leaders. The Council on Foreign Relations and the CIA have said Putin's the most powerful man in the world until Trump came along, because he's actually president. He actually is calling shots. You understand how that works? Yes, if you actually have a real president of a major country, they have a lot of power.